Greetings and welcome to AgriSummit 2021, the Canada-Africa Agriculture Summit focused on harnessing possibilities across the value chain. My name is Sherry Lee, Director of Partnerships and Public Affairs with the Economic Innovation Institute for Africa. The timing for crucial conversations on advancing Canada-Africa commercial relations, particularly in the agriculture sector, has never been more important. To make major advances, key players across the entire value chain must be at the table. To that end, the Sprott Center for African Research and Business at Carleton University, the Norman Paterson School of International Affairs at Carleton University, the Economic Innovation Institute for Africa, the Institute for Canada-Africa Business and Policy Research, and our numerous partners are very excited to host a number of engaging international speakers and thought leaders during this unique virtual summit. These are leaders with impressive accomplishments across government, business, academia, and civil society. We are thankful for their availability and willingness to share insights on contemporary issues in the agriculture space. This event is made possible through the generous support of several organizations, and we would like to thank the following sponsors, starting with Tourism Saskatchewan, a one-stop resource for experiencing Saskatchewan's vibrant cities and great outdoors. Tourism Saskatchewan's business support content, advice, training, and resources are all designed to make Saskatchewan's businesses more competitive, sustainable, and profitable. We also thank the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council, which promotes and supports research and training in the humanities and social sciences. We acknowledge their support through the Connection Program, which aims to realize the potential of social sciences and humanities research for intellectual, cultural, social, and economic influence by supporting specific activities and tools that facilitate the flow and exchange of research knowledge. On behalf of the organizers and partners, we thank our sponsors. I would like to now introduce the moderator for this interview, Mr. Fergus McLaren, Director of International Relations and Knowledge Management for the Economic Innovation Institute for Africa. Fergus McLaren is a sustainable tourism and cultural heritage management professional with 25 years of experience in Canada, Asia, and Africa. Much of his current professional focus involves tourism to World Heritage Sites and the implementation of the 2030 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Fergus, I will now hand the interview over to you, and I look forward to a very informative session.
Many thanks, Sherry. Greetings, High Commissioner. Very nice to see you again. And thank you very much for kindly agreeing to take part in this interview. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, my good friend, Mr. Fergus McLaren, and thanks, Sherry Lee and the entire team that you put together to sponsor this event and to organize it. My congratulations to the organizers, most especially to yourself, a friend who I've had the unique pleasure and honor when I was appointed, came to present my credentials in Canada. You took time and spent a considerable amount of time with me to accompany me to every place. So my introduction to Canada was clearly through you. And I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank you for your commitment to excellence, your commitment to our country, and on behalf of my president and First Lady, and also your good friend, Dr. Pratt. I want to thank you for your love of our country and your support that you continue to give on a sustainable basis. And thanks to the organizer and to all the sponsors for inviting me here today.
High Commissioner, it's my honor. And it's you have very many wonderful friends and people in the country, and it's my honor to be of service. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, let's get started about the interview. In my experience, Sierra Leone is a very fertile, green, lush country with great soil, water resources, and a number of different aspects to support the agricultural sector there. So I want to start off with a broad question for you, and specifically, how is Sierra Leone currently performing in the agricultural sector, and what are its principal products? What are those things that really make it stand out?
Thank you for that question. First of all, let me go on the record for the world to know that our president, His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, he himself is a farmer.
Okay.
And that is something that the world should know because of the fact, the value that our country attaches to agriculture. He himself decided you can't just be talking about farming when you're not doing it. So he himself, as a president, has a farm. The minister of Foreign Affairs have a farm. Quite a lot of members of cabinet have farms. Now to your question. The agricultural sector in Sierra Leone consists of crops, livestock, and forestry. It employs about 2/3 of the labor force, and according to the World Bank, is more than 60% of the GDP. The country is endowed with an estimated 5.4 million hectares of fertile and arable land, although 75% of it remains uncultivated. So there you have it. We have 75% of the land uncultivated. If Canada, there are people in Canada that want to do it, we welcome. The land is suitable for the cultivation of a wide range of crops, including rice, the country's staple food, cassava, maize, millet, cashew, rubber, ginger, vegetables, fruits, and sugarcane, cash crops such as cocoa, coffee, and palm oil, and the rearing of livestock. The sector is dominated by smallholder subsistence farmers utilizing local traditional tools with outdated methods and limited farm inputs. However, a few commercial agricultural companies operate in the production of biofuels and energy, palm oil, timber, rice, sorghum growing, and canning pineapples, manufacturing juices, concentrate, and machinery contracting services. In order to attract more investment and diversity, the economy in the short to medium term, the government is revisiting the policies and creating legal frameworks governing agriculture, fisheries, and tourism sectors to make them more attractive. The National Agricultural Transformation Strategy 2019 to 2023 plans to double the production in rice, forestry, livestock through increasing the land under cultivation and use mechanized farming systems. So that's the view, those are the policies, and that's the direction our country is taking.
Thank you. That's a very good sort of synopsis and capturing of that information. And like I said, having been to your wonderful country, the soil there looks very fertile. And it's not a surprise to me that His Excellency the President and cabinet ministers would have land as farmers because you can grow great produce there. So it's certainly a credit to them to have those extra interests on the side as well to do that kind of farming. So just to build upon what you were just saying and focusing it more on Canada, what do you see as the current agricultural trading relations between Sierra Leone and Canada?
Well, quite definitely an active import and export trade relationship exists between Sierra Leone and Canada. Export of agricultural products such as coffee, cacao, vegetable oils are among the key commodities. However, we'll be very happy to get more and for Canada to expand its knowledge base in agriculture so that we could continue to provide more of these products that are good for commercial purposes.
I think that there are many beneficial relationships, particularly training exchanges and other sorts of aspects that can help support and benefits Sierra Leonean agriculture and vice versa. Certainly some of the techniques that are being used in Sierra Leone as well. In terms of the third question, obviously there are around the world, and of course in Canada and Sierra Leone, there are a number of factors or elements that are affecting the agricultural sector these days. And so for you, are there any key issues affecting the sector that you'd like to discuss? Things like climate change, the sustainable development goals, trade regulations, the pandemic. I mean, it's a wide range of things that I can imagine that are affecting agriculture in Sierra Leone right now.
Like every part of the world, including all of the Western industrialized countries in the world, we continue to experience a tremendous amount of problems with climate change. The effect of climate change on the soils, water bodies, and rainfalls is quite visible. Both the amount and duration of rainfall in Sierra Leone is erratic, and it's also dwindling. This has given rise to desertification of soils, especially in the north of the country. The shortened duration and erratic rainfall has resulted in crop failures and food insecurity in many parts of the country. Some rivers and streams dry up early, depriving many communities and livestock that depended on them. The global pandemic, Sierra Leone's agriculture has suffered greatly from the effects of Ebola in recent past and now the COVID pandemic. Farming activities came to a complete halt across the country, affecting the supply chain of primary commodities and reinforcing rural poverty. Although the situation has improved greatly in the last 12 months, however, I am the first to admit that food prices continue to rise and entrenching the country's over-dependence on imports. This, for instance, our country currently spends over $250 million just to buy rice. And the president, in his infinite wisdom, has said, we have to change that. We have to change that. And that's where we're going to be looking for friends and incredible partners, yourself, in Canada, to help us turn the tide.
I can see where food security is a very important issue there. And for a country the size of Sierra Leone to be spending that kind of money on rice, which is one of the key staples, that's an incredible sort of outflow of revenue that perhaps be maintained within the country instead. So indeed, that's an important consideration. The next question sort of ties into that a little bit. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement came into force in January 2020, and it's been a year in terms of its becoming active and becoming more involved in the different economies across the continent. How do you see Sierra Leone's agricultural sector participating in the AFCTA?
Well, first of all, I have to start by commending our African leaders for having seen wisdom in creating, if I'm not mistaken, the largest trading bloc this world in this would have ever seen. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is a game changer for Africa, because through that effort, countries will be able to trade and will be able to have bigger markets, larger markets, so that improving the transportation infrastructure in our countries, we even lead to intercontinental trade, and by so doing, also continue to open up markets for our partners, our global partners. Rice oil palm, cocoa, coffee, cashew, cassava, groundnuts, vegetables, fruits, and livestock are the leading tradable commodities in Sierra Leone. The government is looking for investors to boost production, localize production, and reduce the large annual imports amounting, like the money that I told you, over $200 million plus dollars that are exhausting the limited foreign exchange that we have. The cultivation of cassava provides for the industrial production of flour and reduces the needs for for its importation. Canadian and American investors can venture into the rehabilitation of existing cocoa, coffee, and cashew plantations, or really establish new plantations. The supply of agricultural inputs like fertilizer, improved seeds, agrochemicals, animal feeds, and veterinary inputs is another important sector. These are all growth sectors that I'm talking about. And partnership with local farmers to expand cultivation, establish adequate storage and preservation facilities, and value-added chains are aspects that we eliminate post-harvest wastages, especially perishable crops such as vegetable and fruit. Let me tell you this. I'm sure you've been to Sierra Leone during the mango season.
Yes. Yep. They're
You
fabulous.
will see fabulous mango fruits, and they will just rot because we don't have the machinery to be able to transform those things into commodities that are commercialized. So domestic production is not sufficient to meet the local demands for protein, livestock production in cattle, sheep, goat, pig, and poultry farming has a large market all year round. So production of animal feed may provide promising opportunity for investment, as well as the export from Canada and the United States of component ingredients such as soybeans, fish meal, concentrate. And if you can go to some of your high-end restaurants in Canada, I will not be surprised that our lobsters use at dinner tables. So the African Continental Free Trade Zone is a great opportunity for Sierra Leone to integrate into the fragmented ECOWAS market and become a major player on the global scene, especially for agriculture, value chains, and the services. So countries, friendly, partnering, collaborating countries like Canada, the investment into those areas that I have outlined, sorely needed. And investment means it's not for free. People are going to make money.
Right.
And I will, through you, my friend, your record and your commitment to traveling and your commitment to the Pan-African agenda, and those of you who have been friends for our countries, I cannot underestimate or overemphasize the role that you have played to just even let the people of Canada know what does exist in our country. And I will once again urge you to use your good offices under this great and incredible platform and opportunities that we have in Canada to say to the Canadians, we are open for business and we love for them to come and invest their money in the country because you have a dynamic president. And not only that, you have a president who is a farmer. So she will speak in their language as well.
I think, I really appreciate all the great information that you provided, Your Excellency. And, obviously I think there is room and opportunity for partnership and to really build a stronger mutual bonds between the two countries. And I think agriculture is one of them, tourism, obviously, another. There's all kinds of levels that we can connect on. I wanted to sort of end off the interview. If you had any final thoughts or any other points that you'd like to add with regard to the agricultural sector or the relationship with Canada, just to get your final thoughts, if you would feel welcome to do so.
Well, first of all, let me thank you, and then thank the government and the people of Canada for the long friendships and relationship that have existed between Canada and my country, the Republic of Sierra Leone. If I can, there are several major thoughts I might have, but let me just stick with a few. Now, the major constraints facing the agricultural sector is the use of modern technology and mechanized equipment in the cultivation of crops and the processing as well as preservation. So supplying labor-saving agricultural equipment like tractors, power tillers, plows, and harvesters, opportunities for the Canadian exporters and investors. The topology generally offers potential for irrigation and cultivation that can have up to 3 cycles in a year, particularly for rice. As mentioned above, land issues and community opposition have prevented major obstacles to direct investment in primary production. Adding value to agricultural and fishery products through processing and manufacturing presents an opportunity for investors for both domestic and international markets. Other cross-cutting areas like agro-logistics and packaging are required for local manufacturers for the international market. So investment opportunities also exist in fish processing and value addition with significant economic potential for high-value exportable fish, including snapper, grouper, catfish, barracuda, tuna, cuttlefish, squid, lobster, and herring. So by investing in fisheries and processing, investors should be particularly attentive to the negative environmental impact and the community opposition they may engender. But like everything else, and which we have realized with many countries, there's an old saying that we say in our country. When you come to our country, as you know, you've been to Sierra Leone several times. Sierra Leone is a friendly country. I always say to people, they said, when you go to any country, you're going to find friends. Be humble, be open, and do not think of the impossible. You work with the people that you found. You make friends. And when you make friends with them, you indulge yourself and begin to understand their cultural practices and respecting those cultural practices. The sky will be the limit.
First off, High Commissioner, thank you for your very kind words. I think that it's great that His Excellency the President is so well connected to the land. It's very important because there's that direct connection with not only the land, but the people who live there and the people who are on it. And I think that's really important. And, I think that I would agree from a touristic and an agricultural standpoint that it's really important to strengthen and maintain those bonds because we indeed do have a lengthy history between our two countries. And I think that there is an opportunity to really share our knowledge and experience, whether at the agricultural level or with our good mutual friend, Dr. Pratt, as well at the touristic level. I think there are many ways that Sierra Leone can benefit from this interactive relationship.